Hey, everybody. Today we are here to talk to you about the content creation guide. If you would like to get a copy of this guide, just type in the word content below. Now, if you're in our Facebook group, put that in the comments. If you are watching us on YouTube, there's a link down in the description. All you need to do is click on that link and we'll get you a copy of the content creation guide right away, delivered direct into your inbox. Now, I know so many of you hear us talk about the need, and not just us, but so many other people talk to you about the need to be consistently creating content. But this creates all sorts of problems. And the number one issue that we see people running into is they say, listen, I just don't know what to create content about. And we understand that, and we are here to solve for that today.
Yeah, and one of the other issues people always run into and a frustration that they have is, they get hesitant. They get afraid to create content. Oftentimes because there's a fear of judgment about what they're going to be putting out. Some people also they say, "You know what, Lacey, I'm a perfectionist. I'm waiting for that perfect moment or that perfect thing in order to be able to create content before I actually deliver it through all the social media forums."
So many of you get the concept. You're like, yes, I am on board. And you get going, but you find it very difficult to be consistent with your content creation efforts. You're able to string together 2, maybe 3 days. But remember, we would love to see you set a goal, an initial goal of 90 straight days of publishing content. Well, that doesn't mean 90 straight days of creating
Creating
content,
content, that's
but
right.
publish content for 90 straight days.
We would really love for you to enjoy creating content on that regular basis and putting it out for the 90 days. Feel good about doing it and actually feel happy, excited, and filled up when you're creating content. So many people they say, you know what, when I'm creating content, like it drains me. That's not what we want. We know that you want to find enjoyment in the content that you put out.
We also know that you would love for your content to generate business development opportunities and brand awareness. If not, directly new clients. So we want to create a system that will help you to create content that does exactly that.
Yeah, and if you've been around Sean and I long enough, you know that one of the things that we highly encourage is collaboration. And if you're like a lot of our clients, we know that you want to be able to collaborate with others when it comes to content creation and getting your messaging out there.
So let's talk about how this works. A couple points that you are going to find inside the content creation guide. Some types of content that you might want to consider. First, just solo videos. You know, those videos where you hold up your phone. You don't
Just
need to
talk
have
into it.
fancy equipment. You can just do this selfie style. But what content are we going to be putting in there? Well, you might consider offering problems to solutions. I always say if you can solve your prospects' problems, and I'm not talking about necessarily even the problem that you directly solve with your service, but other problems that they have. Before they come into you, they consider other options. And if you could help them to solve those problems, which might be sort of the superficial problems, not the deep underlying problem, it will help them to arrive at the conclusion that you are the solution to the deep
Mm.
underlying problem when that awareness is created. And listen, if that sort of stumps you, you could just simply go live, hit that live button all by yourself, and begin to just sort of share with the live audience. You could also compile a list of frequently asked questions, and you could either do this on a solo video or go live and say,
Mhm.
I just want to answer some of the questions I get. Now, if you are in the day to day and you're dealing with clients, I'm sure that every single day your clients ask you questions. You could
Yes.
simply make a list of the questions that you are asked today and go live or record a video tomorrow answering those questions, not for the singular client, but for the masses.
Love it. The second type of content that you create could be collaborative video ideas. Like I said, collaboration is key, and we know that a lot of you want to do that. And so, collaborative videos not only take away and help release some of the fear that you have because you have somebody else in it with you, but again, they help you showcase your connection in the community and in the business world. So, something that you could do could be an endorsement video. Now, listen, endorsement videos are a little bit different than testimonials. So many people think, oh, I need to get a video of somebody talking about my service or my product after they've utilized it. That's not what an endorsement video is. An endorsement video could be somebody talking about how great you are in taking care of others, how great your service is, even if they haven't utilized it. So you can find people in your community that are prominent in the community, key influencers that you can get endorsements from without having to sell them on your product or service. The second kind of thing that you can do would be just a mini interview. I love the mini interview style because it's a little bit more like conversational, easy to do. This could be as long or as short as you want. And really, what it does, not only does it, again, take the ease or the fear out of creating content, but it allows you to highlight other individuals. And it essentially showcase your brand alongside theirs. So I think the mini interviews are really great. And then lastly, you can do polls. You can do polls into the community. You can do polls, people walking down the street or into your ideal clients. All you got to do is ask them a simple question, something easy, something where they'll feel comfortable answering. But this is really great because you get to connect with a lot of people and then you can create a bunch of content off of one question.
Oh, so one question, ask that to a whole
Whole bunch of
myriad of
people. Yeah.
people, record their responses, and then share that. Well, speaking of that, very popularly now, these reels. Maybe putting a little more effort, and it's not that complicated, so don't be scared, to create some editing. But in order to do that, another type of content that you would want to make sure that you're capturing is something called B-roll. Now, this is all of those little extra scenes that you see that's maybe not even necessarily with you speaking. It's the extra scenes. Things like travel sequences when you're in the airport. This is where you get a picture of your roller bag, or you're walking down the jet bridge, or you're on the escalator. This would be scenes of other people interacting. Maybe you would ask somebody. I know when we're someplace and you're trying to do the selfie picture together,
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
always stops and says,
Can
"Hey,
I take a
can I
photo
take
for
a
you?
photo?" Now, I don't know very many people that offer to capture B-roll for you, but maybe you might just say, "Can you grab this
Would you
video
like
of
to
me
would you like me to
talking?"
take a video of you?
But
Yeah.
you speaking to other people, we always
Right.
talk about this too. So, this is a very formal type of thing, you and
Yeah.
I side by side, which would be very different than capturing us interacting. Not necessarily where we're interacting to the camera, we're interacting with each other. That would be a type of B-roll sequence that you might capture. You might capture experiences and entertainment. You might be at a restaurant and it might provide a great experience, or maybe, concerts, live music, anything that is entertaining in there, and you're sharing potentially about that experience. And then don't forget, just scenic backgrounds, landmarks, cool things. If I say Indianapolis, you always think about, Circle City, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, different different landmarks. So if I was saying that my city, if I'm speaking it, I could overlay these scenic backgrounds or landmarks. But the whole point of this is you would have to have captured that.
Now, listen, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of video content I need to create. Well, don't forget that content can also come in the form of just photos. And so don't forget that you can utilize these in any form that you want. I think that the art of taking photos has gotten a little bit lost because people are so used to interacting with live videos. Photos still can go a long way and can be easy to create. So things like headshots, for instance. Listen, we have all seen the headshot of somebody that took it 20 years ago and it's still on their business card, it's still in their email signature, and then you meet them and you go, Okay, that was a little bit old. We want you guys to have updated headshots as much as possible. So, anytime you feel like you have a great background or you're in a good place, or hey, maybe you have a good hair day, take a new headshot because you can use headshots in so many different ways to create content. Secondly, lifestyle shots. Much like B roll, where you're just capturing yourself out in nature or while you're at an entertainment venue or at a restaurant. You can also do this with stagnant photos. I think that this is really important. Those are lifestyle shots, capturing you when you're living out your life. These can be utilized to make a post, and you can create great content off your lifestyle shots. And then lastly, photos of key relationships. Now, let me tell you a little secret. Most people, when they're getting photos of key relationships that they have, what do? It's always
Comes
side
almost looks
by
like you're with
side,
some
like
celebrity
like
or
you're with some
something.
celebrity. Yeah. So what you want to do is you also want to make sure that not only do you capture that photo, but when it comes to key relationships, that you're capturing photos when you're just engaging with them, when you're having a conversation, when you're embracing in a hug, whatever that may be, capture those photos for key relationships as well because they look much more realistic and
Well,
authentic.
yeah, it's the moment afterwards, right? So we
Right.
take the picture and then right afterwards, maybe we shake hands. And if the pictures kept firing while we were wrapping up, that would be far more authentic.
So, listen, if you take our advice and you get this content creation guide, I guarantee it's going to help you make content creation simpler, more enjoyable, take the fear out of it, and just make it easy to go out there and execute. Really, now you have a guide. There's no excuse. We've given you tons of different ways to get your content out there to reach the masses.
Apply this guide. And while this simple statement is not heavy enough to create a whole guide around it, I want you to understand that when you have the guide, you don't have to capture content every day.
Right.
So you apply these constructs. You might only need to set aside an hour or two per week in order to capture all of the content for the entire next week. So this is not something that should be heavy, burdensome. We can't make a guide that just says
Do it.
do that, but that's what you should do.
And the more you do it, though, the easier it gets.
If
Just
you
as a
would like to
reminder.
get a copy of this content creation guide, just simply comment the word content. If you're watching this video in our Facebook group, if you're watching us on YouTube, click the link in the description. We'll get that guide sent out to you right away. Thank you so much. Enjoy your content creation guide.